70% of the UK's water is naturally hard and contains dissolved calcium and other minerals which wreak havoc with boilers, pipework and water systems. As water is heated, these minerals revert back to their solid state and become calcium carbonate, otherwise known as limescale. This accumulates over time, silting up boilers, narrowing and blocking pipes, slowing water flow or stopping it altogether. The results are higher fuel costs, reduced efficiency and a fertile breeding ground for bacteria. But where does hard water originate and how does it lead to limescale?
Every day, trillions of gallons of water escape from the surface of the oceans as water vapour. Now what goes up has to come down, so roughly speaking, about a week later, these water vapour molecules descend as rain. It actually takes thousands and thousands of water vapour molecules to make up just one single raindrop. So there we have our clouds, the rain coming down from our clouds. As it comes down, it picks up CO2 from all the dreadful pollution we have in the atmosphere. Ditto, when it hits the ground, picks up more CO2 from things like rotting vegetation. So now we have a slightly acidic quality to our water, hence the name acid rain. When you've got areas with lots of chalk, lots of limestone, what it does is dissolves that. So this is now incorporated into our water. Now, water companies, of course, they get rid of all the yucky stuff in the water. They use things like chlorine. What they don't get rid of, though, is the limestone, is the chalk. This is not filtered out at all. And so there it remains and literally wreaks havoc, causes damage to our water systems.
When heated, water releases the carbon dioxide, reverting dissolved calcium back to its carbonate state by precipitating hard, ionically charged crystals, which are immediately attracted to the closest surface exhibiting an opposite ionic charge. In this way, the crystals form together to produce scale deposits. In moderately hard water areas, it can take just 2 years for 6 millimeters of limescale to accumulate on pipework or heat exchangers, reducing heat transfer efficiency by a staggering 40%. Billions of pounds are wasted every year through limescale being allowed to build up. Not only does this lower efficiency, but it increases running costs, meaning higher energy bills and a much shorter lifespan of capital equipment. The traditional method of treating limescale with chemicals is flawed for several reasons. It reduces the drinking water quality, it can be corrosive to the system, and can lead to environmental contamination. It is also expensive. In 1989, a method of treating hard water scaling was patented by Dutchman Jan de Baat Dolman and developed in the UK by ETC engineers. It did not involve the use of magnets, chemicals, acids, or expensive softening equipment. The results were astonishing in their consistency and gave birth to the scale watcher ENiGMA frequency modulated electronic descaler.
I've been involved in testing and comparing the performance of water treatment devices, all the different types, electronic, electrochemical, softeners, dosing devices, essentially to benchmark performance and compare how well they perform against in the field. In my opinion, electronic devices do perform very well. They do the job, especially so when they're applied correctly. In the tests I've carried out, the results of the tests show that they improve the performance anti-scaling 5 times in laboratory field trials, so it takes 5 times as long for scale to form, and that is translated into real benefits in the field. A softener route should remove all the calcium carbonate scale, but some people say that perhaps wouldn't want to then drink that water, and things like polyphosphate dosing devices by comparison, you wouldn't want to drink the water. Electronic conditioning devices condition the water, they don't really change the chemical composition, hence the water's treated but still safe to drink.
The scale watcher ENiGMA produces a complex modulating frequency waveform which matches the resonant frequency of the dissolved bicarbonate ions, thereby giving them sufficient energy to release the carbon dioxide and break their bond with the water molecules. In other words, the energy induced in the water is sufficient to cause the premature precipitation of the calcium, which then seeds onto other ions naturally occurring in the water. This ensures that it passes harmlessly through the system as inert crystals instead of congealing against pipes, walls and components. Independent university tests have confirmed that the scale watcher ENiGMA removes existing limescale as well as preventing the formation of new deposits.
I brought the apparatus here to test it most severely. We ran the water we were testing at within 2 degrees of boiling. Now, we didn't 100% prevent scaling, but the scientists involved, myself and Ian Dobson, thought the results were truly remarkable. We'd reduced the scaling by 70%, which at a temperature of 98 degrees Celsius is almost impossible to comprehend.
The scale watcher ENiGMA is comprised of 2 components. The electronic unit attaches to the wall and is connected to the signal cable which wraps around the pipe feeding the system to be treated. A range of units are available to cover pipes of any material and size from 8 to 1250 millimeters. The application of a descaler involves no cutting or extra plumbing, but is simply applied by wrapping the signal cable around the outside of the pipe to form a coil.
Physical conditioning is very versatile because it can be used before any domestic water treatment product, a boiler, a shower, that type of thing. And so you can protect a dedicated piece of equipment to prevent scale formation, or it can be used for whole house protection, and that can be very effective. And at the commercial level, where you've got engineers monitoring the effectiveness of the devices, then it can be very effective in maintaining heat efficiency, energy efficiency in circulating systems.
The scale watcher technology was pioneered by ETC in 1989, and the company won the What's New in Industry Award for services to British industry a year later. ETC was also recently granted the RIBA Journal 100% Detail Innovation Award for Best Product. Since then, scale watcher ENiGMA has been successfully installed in a wide variety of industry, government and commercial applications to help maintain maximum efficiency in water heating and cooling systems.
The scale of the fit out in the building is surprisingly small. The building is split into what's effectively 3 different plant areas, and the water's pumped up and held in storage tanks at different levels. It was just identifying within those particular plant rooms where there was a requirement for the scale watchers, and it's a simple process of just fitting them to the pipework. It really was quite easy.
But it isn't just major businesses that can profit from physical water treatment. Even at a domestic level, curbing scale can substantially lower fuel bills as well as save money on plumbing and maintenance and repair costs.
Well, everybody can see the effects of scale in something like a kettle, for instance, where it's furring up the element. But actually it's happening inside the plumbing as well, and this shortens the life of the plumbing. The shower, the boiler, the cylinder, all these things are going to have to be renewed a lot quicker than they would otherwise need to be renewed. And of course that costs a fortune, not only in the cost of the materials, but getting a guy like me in to do it is going to cost you a lot of money these days. I started looking at different devices. I looked at water softeners and all kinds of other devices, and I settled upon scale watcher because I tried it in my own house, and after trying it for 6 months I was fairly convinced, I live in a hard water area, that it was actually not only stopping the scale from forming but starting to erode the scale, if you like, that was already in the system. It was actually taking it away, cleaning the system up.
Small businesses like hotels and restaurants are also benefiting from this revolutionary form of water conditioning. Take Barnum Mill, a Grade 2 listed building and successful tea room and restaurant. The nearby Sussex Chalk Downs ensure the area suffers from some of the hardest water in the region.
These Italian Rational ovens, we use them every day, pretty much 6-7 hours a day to cook food, steam them, regen them. We had a problem with limescale due to the hard water and the fat and everything going through the pipes all at one time. Since the ENiGMA scale watcher has been installed, it's been a lot easier to clean. We haven't had to clean it as often, and we haven't had such a problem with flooding and clogging up of the pipes.
Keeping scale under control is also vital from a health point of view. In the same way that scale causes gum disease in the mouth, it can also provide a deadly breeding ground for bacteria like Legionella pneumophila, responsible for causing Legionnaire's disease. By insulating the heat exchanger, scale prevents the heat getting through, which can mean the water fails to reach the necessary 60 degrees to become pasteurized and kill off these dangerous bacteria. At Ministry of Defence barracks across the country, aging boilers represented a potential health hazard and were only able to supply tepid water accompanied by astronomical heating costs. This presented a serious problem for the Ministry of Defence and Project SLAM, or Single Living Accommodation Modernisation. It was ETC that provided the solution.
During the design process of Project SLAM, they realised that they needed water treatment because a lot of these buildings are going into hard water areas. We submitted our ideas to how we would do that. We were subsequently shown the designs for the properties, and we put our proposals to the designers of those buildings. And subsequently we were awarded the contract. We've estimated that over the 7-year life of the project as we know it, they are looking for savings in the region of £75 million.
Now, instead of just fitting ETC water conditioners to existing boilers, the MOD are building them in at installation. From St Paul's Cathedral to the Gherkin, from Southwark Estates to St Thomas's Hospital, ETC is helping more and more institutions to conserve energy and save money.
Since having the ENiGMA put into the dry building, it's taken a lot of effort and hard work from us oppos. Prior to the solutions putting the system in, we had to change the heat exchangers every 12 hours, which now we only have to take apart the heat exchangers every 2 to 3 months. It only takes about an hour to do so. We're very pleased with that situation.
Ultimately, though, it isn't just the financial aspect that makes the treatment of scale so important. With the increase in carbon emissions and global warming, we must try ever harder to conserve energy output and minimise heat loss both at home and at work.
We've 60 million people in the UK or thereabouts. We all use our kettles, our irons, our washing machines. You multiply that times other countries in the world, and then we can see we are talking about millions and billions of people. And above anything else, surely we want our kettles and our irons to last. So let's extend their shelf life, and at the same time, let's extend the shelf life of the planet.